is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, February 13, 2025, after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We have a reverse aging health call and all the rest tomorrow night, Friday, after 9:15 p.m. Eastern. All the greatest treasures are hidden behind that which we wouldn't want to be with. All the wisdom, compassion, and treasures are within. So where are you going to hide it? Pamela Wilson. Now, some of us would like a 100% guarantee that everything is going to be okay throughout our lives. Some of us want some kind of a golden agreement from God that says our entire future will be safe from harm, free from pain, and that we will always manifest our every desire and dream. We want to know for sure that life is always working out for us in our favor. And we are guaranteed a perfect, flawless future. Now, the only issue with this contract, whatever you want to call it, is that we also want a life that is brimming with excitement and overflowing with new fascinating adventures every day. We want a future that is free from boredom and filled with a spiritual richness that we are forever bathing in the healing qualities of our very soul. Now, the real question is, would all of this be possible if there was no such thing as fear? If you've done your inner research and looked deeply into your personal relationship with this thought, it might seem to be one of those slippery issues that you are either trying to cope with, ignore, transcend, or avoid at all costs. Many of us were told in our childhood that if we want to be happy, we need to conquer our fears. Yet nobody actually told us how to do it. It seems to be a constant. We're told not to do this and that and this and that and this and that, but we're never told how. That's a big piece that's missing there. As we're growing up, we're told certain things, which is good. It's good. Some of it's good. But we don't know how to go about it. It's like telling someone, a being that says, you're spiritual. Well, how am I spiritual? And you're a God in the body, not the body. But not telling them how that is. What's the construct of it? How is it put together? There's a lot of missing pieces that we all pick up. Later in life we start going, I was never told how to do that. The statement was made to me, and I acknowledged it, but then there was a big piece missing. There wasn't any directions, so to speak, period. So, it's kind of like this. We come into this life and we wing it. We really do. All of us. None of us are exempt from it. We wing it. We do what we can to figure it out. When we want to figure it out, on our own schedule. And we see, as long as we're in ego mind, we're going to have these thoughts. These thoughts we embrace and we experience. And it is a challenge at times when you're experiencing certain things, emotional things, physical things. It's a toughie to say, I'm going to go into the now. I'm going to focus on the now. I'm going to listen to my breath rise and fall. I'm going to relax into my body. I'm going to be as still as can be, period. But when you're experiencing something that you have kind of a fear, there's a fear there, you really don't go, you're not thinking about going into the now. You're thinking about the fear that you have. And it's about a habit, so it's like almost a switch. So when the fear comes in, you're not ignoring it. We embrace the fear, and then we throw the switch. We push the button to go into the now. Because we aren't interested in ego mind. That's all ego mind. It really is. All of it is. And all of us have ego mind. I've talked to so many people that think I've mastered my ego mind. And then you watch and listen and you realize, wow, they have not. Some of us are waiting for, that magical formula that will free us from many different thoughts. Fear, worry, stress, anxiety. So you set the pace with yourself to let go of your phobias, your doubts, and immature childish insecurities forever. Don't need them. We don't need them. We've experienced them more than we would care to, but we've experienced them. So you begin to adjust yourself for a new relationship with these thoughts that will come in. That will make you start living the most amazing, exciting life that you can imagine. Our mind is about to experience a miracle. We are going to learn how to replace all the fearful chemicals in our brain so that we can become authentically fearless in every area of our life. That which can be taken away from you is not worth keeping, and that which cannot be taken away from you. Why should one be afraid of its being taken away if it cannot be taken away? There is no possibility. You cannot lose your real treasure, Osho, which is the God that you are within that body. Why would we worry about all the rest of it? And it's always, some people want to take a big leap. That's their prerogative, but you take little baby steps into trusting the energy of these thoughts, fear, anxiety, worry, stress, because a lot of it's going on this planet, a lot of it. And this trusting energy comes from a spiritually advanced understanding that we live in a divine, benevolent, conscious universe that never makes a mistake and has no room for consequences. And this all-intelligent, life-giving universe is always on our side. It's on your side, and it knows exactly what ingredients are needed for your enlightenment. By accepting this paradigm into every cell in your body, you can start to understand how fear is your greatest teacher and best friend. By knowing this loving universe is always working in your favor, we can relax more. Take the risk to snuggle up to our fear and get a closer look underneath it just to see what it truly is and why it is actually there. Now, a lot of people say, how do you, that's not possible for any of us to be fearless. We all experience fear in different shapes, sizes, and forms. It's just part of life, right? And it's a choice. In becoming truly fearless, you'll need to develop the daily practice of deep, authentic curiosity with yourself. You're curious about it. Why am I experiencing this anxiety? Why am I experiencing this fear? What's the root reason I'm experiencing it? Because, any one of us that gets it, we have, something physical happens and immediately, what do we embrace? We embrace the downside. We do. We start thinking about, what is this? Is it the end of my life? Is it what's happening? And rather than just sitting there going, okay, what's this about? Why is it here? Why am I experiencing it? And many of us won't explore why we are afraid of whatever we are afraid of. We don't. We just kind of go, Now, what is this? It's a special avoidance that is hooked deep into our gut and heart. What's it really all about? It is only through a childlike curiosity and true heartfelt inquiry that we can turn our worries into wonders and catch a glimpse of what it actually is that we are truly running from. We could choose looking inside, behind, or underneath. Our fear for the first time may seem like life-threatening. Most likely will. You've never done that before. Or feel as if you're about to enter a secret cellar door, dark hallway, which has been hidden for thousands of years. This is the right place to start somewhere. Somewhere that feels very familiar, frightening, and instantly makes you want to run and hide. Be aware this mind that we all have is a genius at avoiding what it needs to confront. We have all sorts of strategies and tricks at getting distracted from peering into places, which makes us uncomfortable. Be infinitely patient and insanely persistent whenever you approve or approach your fear. Perhaps you may be a bit analytical and wondering, how does one actually look underneath a fearful feeling? Thought or scary image that is stuck in the mind. Well, you're going to need an extra close dose of childlike imagination for this journey. Roll back the clock a few years. Recall what life was like when you were a child. Do you remember how you played and played and played all day long? Your creativity and imagination never ended all day long. Perhaps you were into playing fantasy games like Saving the Innocent Princess from the Kingdom's Fire-Breathing Dragon. You had the power to imagine anything and everything. And what's really interesting, we all of us, still have that power today. Now, we might even have imagined that we became a grown-up adult person who lost touch with their childish power of imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited, while imagination encircles the world, the universe, and beyond. Albert Einstein. Maybe when you were young, you had an imaginary friend. Did you have did you? I think a lot of us did. You talked with them, interacted with them, had conversations with them. And adults would just say, oh, they're just fantasizing, you know. It's their little world. Now, some of us did do this. It's like, you wonder what a banana would say if it could speak. And we did that. We weren't joking. We were curious. I wonder what a banana would say if it could speak. Or how the sunset colors would taste if you licked them. And whatever fantasies or creative games we played back then, we are still playing them on some level today. They are just more adult-like serious games that we are playing on the inside. Our mind is still making up all sorts of stories about everything and everyone, including ourselves. Our imagination is creating everything in our life. It is responsible for creating everything. Fear, anxiety, stress, worry, happiness, joy, bliss, all of it. And since it has created all of these things, it also has the power to stop creating them and invent something totally brand new. Our imagination is always on, always forming new moves inside. We still have the amazing power of imagination working every day inside of us. The real question is, are we willing to step beyond any normal, ordinary versions of reality we've created and discover a place inside us where anything is possible? What would happen if none of us had an imagination? That's an interesting thought. Our imagination is extremely powerful. Just notice what happens inside your mouth when you imagine biting into a super spicy jalapeno taco covered with hot sauce, or lemon pie. Salivary glands start firing up as the body reacts to whatever the mind sees inside. When we get hooked in imagining something we do not want to see, cannot accept, cannot understand or relax with, then our body continues to react in flight or fight mode each time. After a few repetitions, fearful chemical can instantly form inside our brain whenever we have that same thought pattern again. Have you ever remember in your life where you have had something, it could be anything, some food item or something, and you ate it, drank it, and you got super sick. I mean, really sick. That put kind of an engram in the brain where you, every time you thought of that, you felt nauseous. So every time you had the opportunity to consume it again, there was no way, Jose. So a lot of the times we will say to ourselves, okay, I had a really bad experience with that, and I don't even care to go into that again. So that then we would identify everything being bad in that area. Every time we came around it, we would do an about face. Instead of saying, why did that make me sick? They're childlike curiosity. Could have been food poisoning. Could have been not prepared correctly. There's a lot of avenues. But we do. We put that in, and we don't care to have it again. You could drink a glass of pineapple juice, and for some reason it gives you, really, really heavy-duty heartburn, indigestion. And it's so bad that you say, I'm not going to drink that again. Rather than being curious and say, why does it do that? Why did it do that? So I invite everyone to realize right now, right in this very moment, that your mind is responsible for creating all of it, every bit, everything. Bliss, joy, anxiety, fear, worry, stress. Every terrifying, heart-beating, panic-driven, life-freezing sensation you've ever had came completely from your imagination. And trust, the trust is your mind, and your mind is making a movie all the time. It seems very real, yet it is still just a movie inside the screen of your mind. That which is real is the only thing that never changes. The constant stream of pure white light awareness and the back of the cinema show. This light is what's projecting all the images you're seeing on the screen. So we choose. If we don't care to be worry, stress, and fear, and we choose to be authentically fearless, we must choose to take full responsibility for our inner movie show and get in touch with what our deepest, darkest, fearful movie truly is. It's not just about getting over some scary movie, Nightmare on Elm Street horror, yet dealing with the real fears which are blocking you from creating the life you want to live. This fearless commitment to yourself is that you will stop avoiding it for the next 21 days of your life, and instead explore it with childlike curiosity. It takes a lot of courage to do that. Not a cinch. When you really go through the list with yourself, you go through the list, you write the list down. All the things, and totally straight honest with yourself, right? All the things that you worry, stress, fear about. All the things. It could be intimacy, giving public speeches, great heights, insects, dogs, cats, huge crowds, tight elevator spaces, and it goes on and on and on. The list goes on and on and on. Wealth, poverty, sickness, health, happiness, joy, bliss, success, failure. So this is a good thing to do. You just write a list up of all those things that you fear. Everything that makes you cringe and want to run, scream, or hide Include everything you can think of until you are empty. Take as much time as you need in making your fear list. It can be one of the most liberating things you will ever do this year. Courage is not the absence of fear, but rather the judgment that something else is more important than fear. Ambrose Redmoon. And after you've done this fear list, take your top fear and imagine the solution to releasing this one fear is inside that old dark cellar hidden that you walked down. You're actually opening the creaky, dusty, dark cellar door right now and seeing the long, dark tunnel inside it. You have no clue how long this dark tunnel is or when you'll reach the end. Your inner child is curious, though. And you step inside and start walking down the long passageway that happens to contain the most amazing secret treasure waiting at the end just for you. You do feel courageous, though, and willing to trust in the experience of exploring your fear, no matter how frozen you may feel inside. Always remember that approaching whatever it is a very magical and empowering thing to do. Every fear, worry, stress, anxiety is created from your imagination, and you are always in charge of what happened. So you just relax. Enjoy the scary ride. You may want to rely on your inner light to guide you through the darkness and trust in the fear exploration process. This is why a deep curiosity is needed. And it is needed to constantly shift you into excitement mode. Most amazing treasures in this life are hidden in the last place we would think to look. Now, as we reach the very end of our dark passageway, we see someone sitting there meditating in front of a white candle. The odd sensation of trust comes over your body, and as you feel this being is a very old, familiar friend you once knew. You look into their eyes and see how extremely happy they are to meet you again. You know in your heart that this old friend is the wildest, craziest, fearless being you have ever known. This being is your new fearless friend, and they're here to guide you into fearlessness. Now, your friend has never, ever felt any fear about the thing or situation that you are afraid of. They're actually deeply in love with whatever it is you are afraid of, and they are actually looking forward to doing that thing which you fear. Your fearless friend seems to have a spiritual experience doing the thing you fear. And notice the tremendous joy, awe, and pleasure they have on their face just thinking about doing what you fear. Now you're now back in your cozy home, and you're getting to know each other more personally, sitting down with your friend on the couch. Listen to their creative story about why they love doing the thing you fear. You are becoming the best of friends. This being loves hanging out with you and helping you to overcome your fear. Listen to all the fun, wild, and crazy stories they have. Notice how scary, exciting, and liberating it is for you to hang out with your new fearless friend. Explore how they think, how they feel about this life, and what their average day is like. Feel how they are naturally relaxed and at peace with whatever it is that you fear. We are what we pretend to be. So we must be careful about what we pretend to be. Kurt Vonnegut. Now you spend lots of deep quality time interviewing your friend, your new friend. Practice stepping into their body, feeling what it is like to be totally fearless. How do they feel getting out of bed each morning? What is their attitude about life and death? What does a fearless heart feel like? Capture as many juicy details as you can until you have a strong sense of what it is like to feel the fearlessness that is inside their body. Experience how their body responds with joy, pleasure, and deep awe whenever they are doing the thing you are afraid of doing. The final step to this amazing exercise is where the real fearless work begins. In your real daily life. A few minutes after you wake up every morning and just before you fall asleep every night, spend some time with your fearless friend. Do this for at least 21 days. Maybe just a few minutes each morning and evening. Yet be consistent with meeting your fearless friend right before you fall asleep and right after you wake up. Give them a hug. Tell them you love them. And feel what it is like to be together every day and night. You can even plan to meet at some common place in your dreams at night and have an imaginary cup of tea together. You can hang out all night long if you want and do tons of fun, fearful things together. Be adventurous, be creative. Get to know them intimately and engage in some deep, interesting conversations with them about life. Look deep into the eyes of your fearless friend every time you meet. Feel what it is like to live in their heart and soul. Explore the actual realness of this newfound relationship until it feels as real as how your mother and father are for you. Every morning and evening, keep practicing and practicing and practicing. Experience what their fearless mind feels like. You may even try breathing their fearless energy into your heart, seeing how it may change how your body feels. If you make the time to create a real relationship with your fearless friend every day for 21 days, something miraculous will occur, naturally, organically. You will inherit all their fearless qualities and become free from any fear you may have had. You enjoy the journey. The moment any of us start seeing this life as a non-serious, a playfulness, all the burden on your heart disappears, all the fear of death, of life, of love, everything disappears. One starts living with a very light weight or almost no weight. And so weightless, one can fly in the open sky. Osho. I'll join you in meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still, relaxed into your body. Focus on your breath rising and falling. Whoever you've decided you are is still the tiniest fraction of who you really are. You are not defined by the ideas you have about yourself, nor your desires, nor the shape of your body, and not the positive or negative attitude of your mind. You are beyond all of this. You are indefinable. You are greater than your mind can fathom. You are a spiritual energy which is unbounded and infinite. This is the true you that will never die. For 5 minutes sometime today, sit with the question, who am I? Explore it with your heart, not with your head. Be aware of the mind whenever it creates another idea of who you will be or who you were. Instead, dive into the very essence of your being. Explore what is here now at the very core of you in this moment. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, the following morning. And we will return here Friday, February 14, Valentine's Day, 2025. After 3:15 p.m. Eastern, we continue our global guided meditation call, and after 9:15 p.m. Eastern, we continue our reverse aging, health call, and all the rest. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, and purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's going on within you or outside of you. Open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.